Good evening. Welcome to this class. Today we are going to work on a present tense, but before to start the class, I would like to share with you a video. So please focus your attention on the video and let's start the class.
Of course. I don't know. Oh no! Teddy! Teddy! What around you? Silly life. Gosh. Good. 도도도 도도도
Boom chicka papa, boom chicka, boom chicka go. Rim bum, bam, ba da bum, bam, ba da bum, bam, ba Oh no! Oh, oh, oh. Yuck. Yeah. Oh. Gooey. Right.
Oh, thank God.
Take that!
Okay, guys. What do you think is the period about? You have 2 minutes to think about what could be the video about. That's great. About daily routine, okay? When we talk about daily routine, we use the present simple. So today we're going to study the present simple tense. Start the class with you. I would like to share a PowerPoint presentation. Present simple. As I told you before, we use the present simple to talk about daily routines, but there are a lot of uses of present simple tense. So let's learn together. It says that the simple present tense is used to describe habits and changing situations, general through and fixed arrangements. When we talk about habits, it's like daily routines, yes? For example, on the video, Mr. Bean cleans the house, yes? Maybe he cleans the house every Sunday, which means that cleans the house on Sundays is a habit. On the other hand, general truth, when we talk about general truth, is like water boils at 100 degrees. It's something that is true. It's 100% true. So to use the present simple tense, we have to take into account that the personal pronouns. What are the personal pronouns? The personal pronouns are words that replace subjects. For example, we have as a personal pronouns, we have I, you, she, he, it, we, and they. But something we have to take into account is the third person. Third persons are she, he, and it. Okay, with those subjects, we in the simple present tense, we must take into account that if the verb ends in a Y, yes, and before the Y is a consonant to put the verb in the correct conjugation. We have to change the Y into an I, and then we add es. Okay, so we have here cry. We have the Y, but before Y we have the R. So R is a consonant. So to form or to build the correct form of the verb in present simple, we change the Y into a I, and then we add es. Okay. The only exception here, when the final letter is a Y, is when before the letter Y there is a vowel. Yes, like in the verse play. Yes, play ends in a Y, but before the Y there are a vowel, in this case the A. So we don't have to change the Y, we only add S at the end of the verb. On the other hand, here we have the final letters of some verbs. So if you have a verb that end in double S, SH, XCH, the only thing you have to do is to add es at the end of the verb. For example, we have here the verb kiss. The verb kiss ends in double S, like here. So to write the verb in the correct form in the simple present tense, we add es at the end, but only when we are talking about third person. Yes. So now we have the verb catch. Catch ends in ch. So here you have to add es at the end of the verb. Catches. Like, okay, we have here the verb fix. Fix ends in a x, so we add es at the end. Fixes, but only, as I told you before, with the third person. Third person. Third person are he, she, and it. Okay, let's continue. Now we have here the present simple structures for the positive, negative, and interrogative. So in the positive form, we have to put first the subject, then the verb, and take into account if the subject we are talking about is a third person, we have to analyze if at the end of the verb we put only the s, or we have to add es by into account the rules studied before, the rules that I mentioned before, and then the object. So we have here Romy. Romy, who is Romy? She. So it's third person, but the verb love ends in a vowel, and this isn't, and this isn't an exception. So here we add, the s at the end of the verb. So Romy loves to eat burgers. Okay. In the negative forms, we have the subject, plus the auxiliary verb do or does, the word not plus the verb plus the object. Here we have to take into account that do, we use do with the personal pronouns you, we, and they, okay? And I. And thus, we use thus only with the third person, okay? Here we have Romy is the subject, thus is the auxiliary because Romy is she, is third person, thus not love. As you can see here, the verb love doesn't have in this part of the word, doesn't have the s that they have before. Why? Because here we have the auxiliary verb, so the auxiliary have the rule, yes, the verb ends in O, so we add es at the end. And so for that reason, in this sentence, in negative sentence, if in present simple, if we have the auxiliary replace the s at the end of the verb. So it's really easy. So now we have the interrogative sentences. So do, does, plus subject, plus verb, and plus object. So we are talking about Romy. Romy is she. So we must use the auxiliary verb does. Does Romy is the subject, and then we have loved, the verb, and to eat burgers is the object, okay? Here we have some examples. Let's read together. Number 1, it snows a lot in winter in Russia. We live in Texas. Water freezes at 0 degrees. In this case, as you can see here, is a true. It's something that is true. Water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius. Okay. The fourth sentence says, I like to draw pictures. Number 5, you go to holiday every summer. The cat is sleeping on the floor, but in this case, it's not present simple, it's present continuous. But in other occasion, I will explain the present continuous tense. I don't play the guitar. She doesn't read a book. We don't buy a new house. And in the interrogative form, we have here, do you eat fruits and vegetables? Does she speak English? Okay, so the present simple tense is really easy. The only thing you have to keep in mind is that when we are using the third person, we must take into account if the verb is in the sections, and we add es at the end of the verb, but only with the third person. To practice what we are studying, I bring this sentence So the only thing you have to do is to read the verb who is in the parentheses and to take into account the subject, yes, and then conjugate the verb, take into account the rules mentioned before. You have 4 minutes for this activity. Okay, in the first sentence, they always eat. The verb is the same as the verb who is in the parentheses. Why? Because here in the sentence we have the subject they, and they is not third person. The second one, Valerie studied English at university. Valerie, who is Valerie? She. So studies. And the verb ends in a Y, and before a Y there is a consonant. So we change the Y and we put here the I and then the ES, studies English at university. Now we have Samantha. Samantha played, but what happened with this verb? Played and in a Y, but before the Y there isn't a notebook for English. So at the third questions, you have to only play with the S because you don't hurt his legs, okay? Samantha plays tennis twice a week and works in a language school. Okay, guys, the homework is the following. Taking into account the daily routine of Mr. Bint, you are going to write a paragraph in which you are going to describe your daily routine. Thanks for your attention and see you next class. Bye.